Hello, Ahmed Baba, two brothers talking. how
What
how
is
you
up?
doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm doing
Well, first
okay.
off, I meant to mention congrats on the NAACP awards
Oh, thank you,
nominations.
thank you. Can you believe 4 nominations? What do you think?
Oh, well deserved, man. Like they really hit all angles. I think it's great. I think it's well deserved. I mean, you're bound to win one of them, so you better write your victory speech and plan what you want to say.
It's an honor to be nominated. It really is an honor to be nominated. I don't know if I've ever gotten nominated for 4 NAACP awards ever in my entire career, and I don't know if there are any other people from any of the big networks that were, maybe I don't know, maybe Robin Roberts. I'm not sure. All people I love. I'm just saying, but what the point I'm trying to make is that as an independent journalist, an independent media company owner, this is huge.
Yeah,
It's huge because
it's
look at
massive.
I'm up against like CNN and ABC and and Wondery and it's like wow. All right,
No,
who do you think you are, Don Lemon?
it means you built something that people are paying attention to, and that's really special and working. So, I just had to throw you a congrats for that for sure.
Thank you. Go vote on the NAACP website. Go vote on the NAA. Let's see if I have it. I'll put it in the chats. Anyways, go vote. Okay, let's get to. I want to talk about excuse me, Minnesota. And really, what I want to talk about is the Department of the Trump, the Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security. They are saying that the last person that they shot, because they've shot several people, killed one, they killed two, right? Um, they are saying that they were chasing him and they hit him with a shovel and whatever, and that it was some. I don't believe them. They have no credibility. I believe the guy who was being chased, this Venezuelan national or whatever he is. I believe him more so than my own government, and
It's
that is saying a lot.
no, I mean it's an insane place to be in that we have to take what the Trump administration says on first glance as potential disinformation. We literally have to operate from a place of disbelief from the first thing they say because we saw with Christy Nome, with Renee Good, the first way she framed it, total fabrication.
Yes.
There was no car stuck in the snow. She claimed that Renee drove around and attacked the people surrounding her. So we know their initial claim was totally false, like totally off the mark in another worldly way. So yeah, I don't until proven right. I think we need to take everything the Trump administration says as a potential lie. That just has to be, yeah, or more likely a lie than not, probably given the track record.
Exactly. Yeah, not a potential lie, more likely a lie than not. And they say take everything with a grain of salt. Look, I think this is a boulder of salt. Everything. I don't believe them. They are not trustworthy. They have no credibility. And when you can't, trust your own government, then what do we have here? And I don't believe their version of events since this Venezuelan national was shot in the leg, as they say. I don't believe that he tried to hit them with a hammer. Excuse me, with a shovel or a broom or whatever until proven otherwise. And the point of it is, too, for me, where's the body cam video?
Yeah.
Where is that? Why are you wearing masks? You need
Mm-hmm.
to be more transparent. So I don't believe them. So because they're lying sacks of shit. I don't believe them.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think that's where most journalists should be situated. I think at this point we can't, we're not in the place where we say, oh, well, allegedly the Trump administration says X, so we need to frame headlines around that, frame commentary around that. I think we really cannot believe them. And I think you're right. I think that's the right approach. We have to stand in a place of skepticism. We have to hit them with that scrutiny and demand answers because right now their track record is every time. There's also another case in Maryland I saw where DHS completely changed their story about a shooting of another immigrant. Every case, their initial story has been false, and then they revise it. So therefore, journalists, not just us independently, mainstream media, don't buy the bullshit. You need to express skepticism up front. And then if they're proven right, great. They were being honest. That would be fantastic. But I don't believe them until proven otherwise. I think that should be the modus operandi of every journalist. Disbelief before quotation.
And since what happened last night, did you see what Donald Trump, I don't know, lied or because truth about lied about? I think it would be better if it's called lie social, and then you can
Yeah.
say lied because then that's like tweeted or whatever.
Yeah,
But he
yeah,
said
yeah.
if the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Here's the thing. Um, it doesn't matter if someone is a professional agitator. Like in America, you can be a professional agitator. You can
Yeah.
be a professional protester. That is your First Amendment right. So that means nothing. And then he says insurrectionists. It's like, wait, what? What happened to the I would say, well, if they're insurrectionists, then they will be pardoned for everything. They
Yeah.
shouldn't be charged because you pardoned them and you said they shouldn't be charged in the first place. So I wouldn't pay attention to it. And then the other thing is that he wants to do this Insurrection Act because I think he wants to normalize the National Guard
Mhm.
who out there or normalize federal agents being out on the streets to intimidate people in during the 2026 election to
Yeah.
try to I guess slow the vote down or suppress the vote. That's what I think he wants to do.
Yeah, I think there's that. I think he desperately has been wanting this power for a long time. They considered this during the George Floyd protests in 2020, but again, he had people around him that weren't loyalists, so they rebuffed him. Right? We had Mark Esper then, but now you have Stephen Miller, you have Hegseth, you have these rabid people around him that are pushing him to do this because eventually, essentially, they want this military rule. Right? He wants to be able to bypass because right now he can't. There's only so much that the military could do. We saw them get pushed out in LA because they were violating the Posse Comitatus Act, which right now prevents military from engaging with civilians really at all. So if you invoke the Insurrection Act, then he can use the military on top of ICE. He could also mobilize Air Force. Like he can mobilize that the act provides broad ability to do a lot of shit. But fortunately, I think the courts would push this thing back. But the question is like, if he's already moving in there with the military, well, what's going to stop him in those immediate steps? Are local police going to now be standing against military? Like, I think he's setting us up for a potential really bad conflict if he were to do something like this.
Well, I was speaking to Representative Jimmy Gomez today, and I asked him. I said, "Why isn't Tim Walz the governor? Why isn't he deploying National Guard there?" And he said, "Because if he does, this is what his assessment. I want to check this out with someone, a military professional, who says he can quickly um, deploy himself. Um, the how did he put this? That he can use them for he can do a basically a national takeover of the National Guard
Yeah.
and turn the National Guard on citizens is what he said. So he said
Yeah. Not
empower
great.
the National Guard to go against citizens, but instead, but I think that I would like to see him empower the National Guard to go against these ICE goons.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. I would like to see him try. Like at this point, I think something has to be met with force. Like I think you would have to say, you know what? What would these at this point, if he issues the Insurrection Act, and let's say it gets challenged in the courts, it'll be up to the National Guard. It'll be up to the individual troops. It'll be up to people to decide whether or not they would do what Democrats warned against, follow unlawful orders, right? Like, I think at this point, he would be setting up something where people would have to be openly defying him, where there would be protests in the street, there'd be clashes. I just think it's insane what he's trying to do, and he's also thinking politically. Oh, if you do this, it's going to force Democrats to defend. He's still in this like, oh, I want to make Democrats look pro crime and pro chaos and all this stuff. But look at the polling, man. No one is buying any of this. Are you seeing any evidence in your conversations with people that anyone is buying any of this at all?
No, but I understand what you're saying, but no one cares. No, but no one. I shouldn't say no one cares. Everybody cares, but it doesn't mean anything. Is what I'm saying. The public sentiment means nothing because he's just going to do whatever he wants. He doesn't care at this point. it doesn't matter. I mean, I think he may be concerned about the polling, but then again, he'll say, "Look, I'm not on the ballot in 2026 or 2028. I don't care. I just want to be in power, and this is just what I want to do." But he should care because in 2026, if Democrats take over, the people he has in charge are in a world of trouble. And
Yeah.
once he's out of office in 2028, they can bring back some of those cases for which he, may be held liable criminally and could end up
Hmm.
going to jail. So he should be concerned about that. But I
100%.
don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares, and he's going to do whatever he wants. So the public sentiment, he's like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm just going to do it, and no one is stopping him. That's the point. No one
That
is
and
stopping.
that's the problem. And also, before I even respond, y'all hit that like button. You have unlimited likes, right? You could smash it. Feel generous. Smash the
Art,
like
yeah.
button, heart it. Get this out to more people if you're watching. Because we're doing independent journalism out here. And yeah, man. Straight up, I think this
And follow us
guy.
on all the platforms. Make sure you
Yeah.
follow Ahmed on all of his platforms and mine as well. Make sure you hit the hearts if you're watching us on Substack, smash the heart. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching us on any of the other platforms, whether it is Substack, Twitch, or whatever it is,
Hmm.
make sure you hit the like and follow us on all of our platforms.
And hit the comments. We'll respond. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm telling you, I think he may not care, but I think the public sentiment and the elections of 2025 is why he's doing this. Like I think all of this is coming from a place of profound weakness. I think he's shook. I think, like he said, "Oh, if Democrats," well, I don't have the impression down. I'm not going to try, but I think he said, if Democrats win, they're going to impeach him, and he's afraid. And every one of his cabinet members, like we talked about last time, will likely get impeached too. And then his final 2 years is just going to be misery. It's just going to be misery. It's
They'd
going
have
to be
to
him
vote to
sitting there.
convict him, though. Do you think there are enough Republicans that would vote to
No.
convict?
Well, no, at that point, like I'm more like we talked about last week. I'm more of an advocate of like, you can impeach him too, but like the cabinet members, because he's going to be going away anyway. I think it's more just like make the administration's life hell. Frankly, like just bog them down in investigations, subpoena the hell out of everybody, figure out what's going on with the training in ICE right now, the lapses. I don't know if you saw that story. There was apparently an AI mistake in ICE applications where they sent untrained people to certain field offices. This story's crazy. I need to pull this up right now and just read you an excerpt because it is insane. But I think like what Democrats are going to have to do is hold these people accountable because right now they are doing big damage. Okay, here I have the headline here: NBC News, and you and your team will probably end up talking about this later because this story's crazy. ICE error meant some recruits were sent into field offices without proper training, and basically there was an AI that scanned 10,000 new officers, and artificial intelligence basically processed their applicants and sent recruits into field offices that they weren't supposed to go to. So basically, these people are being sent into field offices without any proper training whatsoever. Um, and I know that this specific guy, Jonathan Ross, I guess he apparently been in there for a while, but these other officers, they're untrained. They're usually people just coming off the streets trying to get in here and brutalize people. We don't know if that's the case or not.
Yeah, look, you're right about that. And I mean, and this just shows you how incompetent they are. If you have, the people who are hiring them are incompetent, and then the guys who they hire are incompetent themselves, we're in a world of trouble. The thing is that I'm at the point now where I'm tired of just sitting around and complaining about. I wonder what recourse, what can leaders do, people who should be doing something, what can they do to stop this? And what are they doing to stop this? You had Tim Wall said, we need you to memorialize it. We need you to tape. We need you to take certain, keep notes and all those things. Okay, good, because he believes they're going to be prosecuted. Okay, that's all well and good. But while you're gathering information and videos and photographs, your loved one is being shot or you're being shot yourself. What do you do?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Jacob Fry says, we want people to be peaceful because uh, that's what the Trump administration wants. They want you to be violent so that they can enact the Insurrection Act.
yeah,
I just wonder at this point, like, is it left up to the citizens of the United
yeah.
States? is it left up to the citizens? Because you know what the Second Amendment says about a well-regulated militia, but it also talks about a tyrannical government. At this point, it is tyranny. We have a government that's running roughshod over the elected officials, over the people. They're terrorizing families, neighborhoods, citizens, and just people on the streets. This is tyrannical. And for
Yeah,
all of the people who talk about, that they are Second Amendment absolutist and, the Second Amendment is sacrosanct, this is what the Second Amendment was written for. So where are you on this? What do you say about this? What should people do? Should they exercise that amendment, that right? I'm just saying, I don't want any violence to happen,
of
of course,
course. Yeah.
but it just makes me wonder, like, if you're going to not play by the rules and basically just do what you want without seeking approval from Congress or local leaders or public opinion or any of those things, that's the definition of tyranny. And that
Yeah.
word tyranny or tyrannical, that is in that amendment, in the Second Amendment. So
I mean,
that's what I'm
there's a lot of people with "Don't tread on me" stickers on their car right now that are allowing the government to tread on them. That's what's happening. And honestly, this is the real talk conversation to have because I'm glad we're just getting real about like what do we do about it now? We can sit here, we can analyze it, we can dissect the legality of the Insurrection Act, we can do all that stuff. But like, what is it really going to take to actually push back on this? And I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm actually doing a MLK tribute speech this Monday. Wisconsin, the government asked me to do it, which I was like honored to do. So I'm going to go in the Capitol Rotunda and give a MLK keynote address. And I've been writing a speech and just thinking about deeply about what we need to do. And honestly, I think with the No Kings protests and the way everything has been organized, there is an appetite for a mass organized movement like the 1960s that needs to come back and probably been bigger than Black Lives Matter that could be channeled here. And I think that's what we need. And we don't really have any central leadership. There's no, SCLC. There's no really like a SNCC. And there's nothing really like the 1960s where there was a central organizing principle and the most famous Black man was out here doing interviews, organizing and coordinating everyone. And I'm just wondering what it'll take for that to start and who will it be? Will it take journalists having to basically help coordinate this? Will it take independent media content creators? What is it going to take for us to all organize, get together and plan a massive nonviolent counter movement to this? Where if you're on the street of Minneapolis, if he were to invoke the Insurrection Act, how are we going to be able to mobilize 200,000 people to go to that city and then they can't do anything because that would turn into a massacre? Like, what are we prepared to do to push back to this administration, to grind things to a halt, to get them to stop? Because I think right now we need some massive civil disobedience in a way that maybe Americans weren't prepared for, because this is starting to get wild.
Yeah. So what is it going to take? It's going to take for people to be motivated and not to be so comfortable. I think that comfort is poison. And people comfort and luxury, people are used to certain things. I mean, back then, you talk about the civil rights movement, the circumstances were a lot different back then. People had fewer resources back then, they had fewer
Exactly.
rights back then. That's what they were fighting for, civil rights. They had even fewer rights now, and they weren't afraid. But you know what they didn't have? Many of them, not all of them, they didn't have, some people couldn't afford a house, probably didn't have a mortgage, right?
Hmm.
They didn't have a luxury car in their driveway. They didn't
Yeah.
have private school for their kids. So there are different, people have different sets of circumstances now. And I'm generalizing because surely there were, upwardly mobile Black people and people who were participating in these things, but they did not have as many resources. And
Hmm.
so I think people have gotten comfortable. And so comfort for me is the real enemy, is the real poison. And people have to be willing to sacrifice something. And part of the sacrifice that I make is that I go out on a limb every single day and I say, I speak the honest truth as I see it. And that doesn't happen in mainstream media. They're very
No.
concerned about it, right? And so that's part of the sacrifice that I make, that, they could at any point say, what you're doing, Don, is dangerous. You're speaking out against the administration and try to come get me. But, you have to be willing to sacrifice something. I think we all do. And I don't know
Yeah.
if people are in that mindset yet. So you're right. We
Yeah.
need a massively organized, we need to mobilize a counter to this madness.
Yeah, and people need to become comfortable with the discomfort. Like MLK came from a middle class family, obviously son of a reverend, but like he embodied that. He took it on. He sacrificed. He pushed others to do it. He pushed people to be willing to go to jail, to be incarcerated for the fight. He was, people don't really know this, but he was stabbed in the chest during a book signing in
Yeah.
1958
Yeah.
and survived and was unfazed by it and and kept going. Like there are people, they faced significantly bigger challenges. They couldn't eat at the same restaurants as, I couldn't have married my wife. Like they were in a situation in which they didn't have this. They couldn't organize with the click of a button, and yet what they did was insane, and it literally changed the world. And I'm thinking right now, like, you're right, a lot of us have become comfortable, and you're making this sacrifice, which is not easy, to get a lot of heat for this. And it's important to speak the truth clearly so that people can be out here and mobilize. But I really think, like, the fact that the No Kings protest happened twice, like, where is the sustained effort? Like during King era, they had sustained effort. They had national sit-ins going on consistently after the Montgomery bus boycott. They kept going. He kept pushing the envelope. After 1964, when he got desegregation, he kept pushing. Still, JFK was like, "Yo, we're about to pass the bill. Maybe call off the march." And then he still did the March on Washington and gave the "I Have a Dream" speech. He just kept pushing for more. And then as he was dying, he was pushing to end income inequality. And it's just like, you're right there. I don't know if there's a complacency. Clearly, the average citizen cares a lot, but we need the leadership, people with these platforms, lawmakers, especially, out here causing, he's just out here musing about the Insurrection Act, and there's not a automatic triggered, movement to backlash it. Like, where is the organized protest movement? And I think right now there's a huge appetite, but it's more disorganized. Is what I would say.
Yeah.
And that's really just what I've been thinking about, is like, what will it take? Who, maybe it'll be more decentralized this time. Maybe it won't be a singular figure that, gets the Time magazine covers and does it, but actually every individual citizen, because we're all leaders now with our, we can just talk into our phones and lead,
Yeah. My producer who is watching, my trusted producer, Nikki, says she said he can turn around. If Governor Walz deployed the National Guard to fight against these, ICE goons or whatever, he said that Donald Trump can then turn around and federalize those National Guard members to go against the citizens then. So I don't know. I want to double check that, but I think
Yeah.
something has to be done. We're in an existential crisis, Ahmed. And we need to stay together and fight. And if you're out there, fight, fight, fight. And check out our videos. I have a video that is up now that says how to deal with ICE. It is up on the YouTube. And it tells you just exactly what you need to do if you encounter ICE, or if someone else encounters ICE and you are present. It tells you what you need to do. And
That's
by the
great.
way, a lot of it is nothing. Just don't say anything to them. If someone comes to your house, and like what happened with the DoorDash person the other day, and the
Mhm.
DoorDash person went into this couple's house, and it became a sanctuary. If someone comes into your house, you can't invite them in. You can't say, "Come on in, we'll protect you." But if they come into your house becomes a sanctuary, and they cannot come
Interesting.
in. So there are lots of things that you can do. Check it out. What you do if you encounter ICE.
Yeah,
Ahmed Baba.
ice is like vampires. You have to invite them in order for them to come. Yeah, you get on them in.
You also cannot invite the person in who is running from ICE.
Yes,
They have to
exactly.
come in on their own. Thank you, Ahmed. I'll see you next time. Two
All
brothers
right,
talking.
brother.
All right.
Keep at it.
Take it easy.